Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. In this video I'm going to be discussing a couple of trades involving Gustav Nyquist going to Columbus and a major trade involving Mattias Ekholm to the Edmonton Oilers, with all that coming up right now. Hello and welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. I'll kick things off in this video by discussing a small trade that happened as the Minnesota Wild acquired forward Gustav Nyquist from the Columbus Blue Jackets at 50% of his contract retained in exchange for a 2023 fifth-round pick that was the Boston Bruins. Now, for the Wild, we know they'd be looking for some offensive help, and Nyquist can provide that. Now, as of right now, he's currently on injury reserve. He's dealing with an injury that will most likely keep him out for a majority of the season. It's a small chance he does get back before the regular season ends, but most likely he's going to be back at some point in the playoffs, so this is a good move for Minnesota. He had a stellar year last year, putting up 18 goals and 53 points in 82 games. This year he hasn't done as well, only putting up 10 goals and 22 points in 48 games before the injury. So Nyquist can be a good depth addition. Same sort of thing like Johansson, as we talked about in one of our previous videos. Johansson, Nyquist, similar type players, both good third-line forwards who can produce a high level. So I think this is a good addition for the Minnesota Wild. Not a major one by any means, and I still think they could do at least something more before the deadline. But I think that the addition of Nyquist is good. It's going to be interesting to see if Nyquist does get back before the season ends or not. But for now, he's currently on injury reserve, and that's probably where he's going to stay for at least the next little while. And I think that just getting some more depth on the forward group is really good for Minnesota. As for the Columbus Blue Jackets, they get a 2023 fifth-round pick. Now, this fifth-round pick, the Wild acquired in the Dmitry Orlov deal, as they got a fifth-round pick from the Boston Bruins in this year's draft to broker the deal between the Capitals and Bruins for Dmitry Orlov. So they use that pick they get for helping the Caps and the Bruins, and they go and flip that into Gustav Nyquist, which I think is a really good addition. Columbus was probably going to trade him at some point anyway, so to get a fifth-round pick for him, even though he was injured, is pretty good for the Jackets, and I expect the Jackets to continue to maybe do a little bit more for a deadline. Not exactly sure what they do next, but it's going to be interesting to see. So good move for both sides. Wild get a little bit more deep on the forward group with a good addition in Nyquist. He should be able to fit into that top 9 role whenever he gets back from his injury. As for the Jackets, they get a fifth-round pick for a pending unrestricted free agent who probably was going to miss the entirety of the season. So pretty good move by both sides, and I expect them to continue to wheel and deal for both sides. I expect the Wild to maybe still look for another forward to improve that group. And I think that the Jackets could still sell off some players. So it's going to be interesting to see what these two teams do next. But the bigger trade I want to talk about in this video is the Mattias Ekholm trade. As Mattias Ekholm, at 4% of his contract retained, or at $250,000, to get his contract from $6.25 million down to $6 million even, was traded to the Edmonton Oilers, as well as a 2024 sixth-round pick. In exchange, the Predators get Tyson Barrie, who's a really good offensive defenseman, Reid Schaefer, who was the 32nd overall pick in this last year's draft, a 2023 first-round pick, and a 2024 fourth-round pick. This is a really good move. We'll start with the Edmonton side of things. The Oilers are getting a really good offensive defenseman in Mattias Ekholm. Ekholm has done not too well this year, as he had 6 goals and 31 points in 76 games last year. The fantastic was really helping the Predators lead them to a wildcard spot. This year, not as productive, 5 goals, 13 points in 57 games. But this still fills the need for the Edmonton Oilers. We know that they were looking to try and acquire a puck-moving defenseman, and this does help them do that. So I think this is a really good addition for the Oilers. Ekholm should probably be able to slot into the second pair, in my opinion, probably right behind Nurse, and he should be able to be a really good offensive defenseman. I know the Oilers were really looking for a puck-moving defenseman. I think Ekholm's going to be a really good fit there. I think Ekholm on the Oilers' blue line should be an amazing fit. And even though it's a little bit hard to take cap-wise, having him for this year plus 3 more seasons at $6 million, Ekholm's an outstanding defenseman, and I expect him to do really great with the Edmonton Oilers. He's a good puck-moving defenseman. He's a little bit more of a bigger body. I think he definitely helped round out that top 4 on the blue line. I know they had Duncan Keith last year on that top 4. He retired. They never really replaced him in the offseason. So this is a really good top 4 addition for the Oilers. And I expect Ekholm to continue to do really well in Edmonton. And I expect the Oilers to really like this addition. They also get a 6th round pick, which is basically swapping with the Nashville Predators' 4th round pick. So they move down 2 spots in next year's draft, so not too bad, but they at least keep a little bit of draft capital. As for the Nashville Predators, they get a huge haul. The Predators get Tyson Barrie, who is a really good puck-moving defenseman as well. He was playing third pair minutes on the right side for the Oilers this season. He's had a heck of a season this year and really good season last year too, quarterbacking the Oilers' power play. Last year he had 7 goals and 41 points in 73 games, and he looked fantastic. So far this year he's looked even better, putting up 10 goals and 43 points in only 61 games. So I expect Barrie to continue to do really well. We know Nashville's trying to rework that blue line. They've moved Ekholm. There's a lot of talk they'll move Fabro. They've brought in Cal Foote. They now brought in Tyson Barrie. So they're definitely trying to rework that blue line for it to be competitive again. And I think the addition of Barrie is great. He has this year and next year in his contract just over $4 million. So even if it doesn't work out, they could probably move Barrie at the deadline next year for something else if the Predators are still not doing good. So I like that addition for the Predators, and I think Barrie should definitely be able to come in and fill in a top 4 role with Ekholm now out for the Predators. Then they get Reid Schaefer. Schaefer was the 32nd overall pick in this past year's draft, taken by the Edmonton Oilers, and he looks like a really good top 6 power forward. He's playing currently in the WHL with Seattle, playing really well in juniors. He was able to get 58 points in 66 games last year. He's played a lot less games, but he has done really well, putting up 47 points in 44 games this year, so over a point per game. I would expect Schaefer to probably finish this year in juniors, maybe play next year in juniors as well. It's quite possible, though, that I think that he could play in the AHL next year, and then he should be able to make the jump in about a year or two to the NHL. So this is a really good addition. I think with the Preds not having too many good young forwards enter into their lineup, I think that Schaefer should definitely do a really good job of being slotted into like a top 6 role in a couple of years, and I think Schaefer will do really well with Nashville. They get their Oilers 2023 first round pick, which is probably going to be a little bit higher than some of the other picks that were traded earlier this week and this month. Oilers are a little bit lower in the standings than a team like, say, Boston, New Jersey, Tampa. So I could see that if the Oilers do lose in like the first 2 rounds, maybe that pick is somewhere between like 20 and 25. I think that could be a decent pick for the Nashville Predators, as the Predators definitely do want to draft some more good young players, and I think this should help them. And then they also get the 2024 4th rounder for Edmonton, which is just moving up 2 rounds after they gave Edmonton the 2024 6th rounder. So all in all, I think this is a really good deal. The Predators get a good power play defenseman, someone who can put up points in Tyson Barrie, who they could move as a trade chip next year if he's not doing too well with the Predators. They get Reid Schaefer, who seems to be a future top 6 winger in the NHL, a good power forward, and should be able to really help the Predators' offense in a couple of years' time. They get the Edmonton Oilers 2023 first round pick, which will probably be a really good draft selection somewhere in the middle of the draft. And then they also get the 2024 4th rounder as they move up a couple rounds in next year's draft. In return, the Edmonton Oilers, they get a really good puck-moving defenseman who can fit in their top 4 on the left side, something they really did want in Mattias Ekholm. And they also get a 2024 6th round pick from Nashville as they move down 2 rounds in the 2024 draft. So pretty good move for both sides. If I had to pick a winner right now, I'd probably say Nashville, just because the Preds got a really big haul. I think Schaefer and the 2023 first rounder are going to help their future hugely. And I think Barrie's a good stopgap defenseman for them right now. So I think this is a really good deal. I think that Ekholm should definitely thrive on the Oilers, but the return the Predators got for Ekholm, I think, will definitely make them the winners in this deal, at least for now, in my opinion. Maybe Ekholm does it fantastic with Edmonton, and Schaefer doesn't really do too well. They don't hit on the 2023 first rounder. Barrie gets moved for not too much, and maybe the Oilers do win this deal, but I think for now, it's quite likely that Nashville will be the winners, and that's at least who I have in my opinion. So I do like both of these deals. I'd like to know what you think. What do you think of the Gustav Nyquist to Minnesota trade? What do you think of the Mattias Ekholm to Edmonton trade? I think this is a really good move by all the teams. I think that the Wild probably won the Nyquist deal, given the fact they only had to give up a 5th round pick for him. And I think that the Preds definitely won the Ekholm deal given the fact of what they got back for him. So I think these are two really good trades, and I can't wait for more trades to come soon. So that's all I'm going to talk about for today. Remember to like this video and subscribe. I also do a blog, which I will leave a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the March 3rd trade deadline live blog that I'm going to be doing on Friday, and also keep up to date on some of our other videos, as there's probably going to be some more trades, and we're probably going to have a couple of other small videos as well. So keep up to date with all of that, and I can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.